Yo, what is up, Goon Squad? We are back for episode 26. We were flying from our last episode, episode 25, which featured Justin Nags. We had a lot of great feedback from that episode. It was so much fun on our end to record that one, getting to catch up and to hear some of those hilarious stories from Justin. And actually, it's funny that it was a golf episode, and we actually had a chance to golf after that episode. Myself, Ove, Deck, and our buddy Cloudy. We had a blast. I mean, I did. I don't know for you
Speak
guys.
for yourself, buddy. Jesus.
Buddy, you probably got. Did you
Well,
tell
that
Ryan about the clubs
fucking
you
round I've
broke?
ever played a golf.
Listen, besides you breaking your clubs, we had a pretty good fucking
No.
time.
Two,
clubs,
not one. Two.
clubs.
And he got a free one, 5-finger discount. So
That's it. But it
I
gives
think
me
you just incriminated him.
gives
Nah,
me
no,
yeah,
that's
really-
okay. Don't worry.
oh fuck, here we go. But no, it gives me an excuse to go out and buy a new diesel. So
There you go. Got a lot of news to get into, guys. But you know how we do. I guess the only thing that we've really done is golfing, but we're gonna
Yeah.
check the boys anyways. Fuck it. Dex, what have you been up to, man? How's life?
It's good. I mean, fuck as good as it can be considering our situations, I suppose, right?
Sure.
fuck
know,
you, Doug.
yeah, fuck you, Dick. Working away, working through my soccer stuff. Like I said, we went golfing. That was fun. That was our outside activity. The dog is getting a little more settled, I suppose. He's starting to, we're trying to get her out on longer walks, but she's scared of everything. Like if a car goes by, she runs away. She doesn't like loud noises. Pretty good though. I mean, like I said, as good as it can be for the situation we're in, right?
Yeah.
So we're just lucky that we're the lucky ones and we still get to go out and work, right? I mean, I count my blessings for that all the time.
Yes, sir. Oh, what's up, man?
Hey, it's going, boys. Like Dex said, it's you can only do as much as what
It
got what you
is
got.
what it is.
Yeah, you got what you got.
What it is, boys, and that's what it comes down to. And you got to make the most of it right now, right? So, yeah, it was nice to get out with the boys. Like beautiful fucking weather. Like holy fuck, boys! I went to work. I was fried for a couple.
Oh, I
days.
ruined my fucking shoes, man. I'm still pissed. I still gotta clean those shoes.
Guy plays a round of golf in April and thinks it's a good idea to wear all white ones.
Like,
Brand new all white shoes.
Yeah, it wasn't
Rookie
my best
mistake.
Oh man, I'm looking at them. I was like, damn it.
Well,
So I have to look at it and find a way to clean them.
Lovat actually, he talks to me all the time, and he can't believe how bad I am with shoes. And he's like, the fact that you get white shoes makes me throw up in my mouth.
I should have worn my
Oh,
other
no,
shoes.
no, no. Not just shoes. You should not own
Anything.
anything like no shirts, no pants, no shoes, no ball caps. I don't care. Like you and White are not friends, dude.
Hey,
You stain
Jagger-
and ruin everything.
Jagger stains everything.
Oh man, does it ever?
It doesn't stain like a black sweater or like you know. You
Nah,
should just
just
get
the
dark
smell.
colored clothing, and I think you'll be okay. Your stains won't show up as much. You know, you can get a little dirty. You'll be fine.
Yeah, but I'm a husky boy. You wear dark in the heat.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I mean it's hot enough.
But no, it's been good. Like the birthday's coming up next weekend, so the wifey hooked me up with a nice new smoker, and we get finally that deck that Nagsy was talking about. He's a bag of garbage for throwing me under the bus.
Yeah, you did, man. Holy shit! Did you ever
But fuck that
spent
guy.
about half the episode just sullying you? Just that sandbagging son of a bitch.
But yeah, no, we got the deck all finished up, so we got the smoker. We got a nice little setup back there, so gonna be nice. Like it's a spot that we can just hang out, have a couple of pints and whatnot out on the back deck, right? So it's it is what it is, boys, and that's the highlight of my spring so far. We'll see what after May 20th brings.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, the highlight
Regular.
of my year so far was probably that round of golf we played. Not gonna lie, it's been a weird start to this year, but you know, the one thing that I was really excited for this summer was golf because I knew that it would be open, and now it is taken away from us. So fuck everyone who is involved in that.
Well, by the time this episode drops, we might have it. They're talking about lightening
That's
up
true.
on, so we'll see. I have
But as
no
of now,
at this point. I have no faith in it, but
But it was fun to get out that run round. And besides that, man, yeah.
hey, the
just-
boys all looked relatively good too. Like besides me snapping my clubs, we were
Oh,
smacking
buddy,
it
I
pretty
can't
nice.
believe you broke 2 of them. Like
Yeah.
Jesus.
Dex kept it into 3 digits, which is always nice. And then
Yeah,
Means
just a little above it.
if you shoot 4 digits, I think that you should probably quit.
Probably
golf.
just put the clubs down and never pick them
You
back
should
up.
probably never say the word golf ever again.
Although to be fair, I didn't lose as many balls as I thought. I actually gained
yeah.
balls. I ended up with more. So I'll
Oh,
take
yeah,
that as a win.
you're hitting the ball pretty well there, buddy. Little tweaks.
That's what golf is, man. It's just little tweaks every time,
The
man.
stupidest game ever, but I love it.
Oh, it's the most frustrating
Golf
game
is a
ever.
long
The
journey,
best,
man.
I mean, like the best thing you'll ever hear about golf is Robin Williams stand up about golf. If you haven't heard that, do yourself a favor and go listen to the Robin Williams stand up on golf. It's fucking classic.
But yeah, speaking of golf, the last episode was a Masters special, and we had our first Japanese golfer take home the green jacket.
I didn't know
that was
that.
pretty sweet. It was the first male from Japan, right? Because
Well, it
they've
was
had 2 females.
Well, it was actually pretty funny because I think the female who won it the weekend before at Augusta was the first female. I think I could be wrong.
No, I've heard that there were 2 female Japanese golfers. I think.
Well, it was
that
both
had done
Japanese. It was both Japanese winners
But yeah,
this year.
no male had ever done it. So yeah, shout
Damn,
out
good
to-
for him. Hats off to him.
He was the best amateur a few years back, and Tiger won the jacket, I believe. But Hideki Matsuyama was the top amateur in the tournament, so he had an award. Was when he was first starting off, so it was a pretty cool story.
So you knew he was gonna be a somebody one day.
Yeah, that's it.
He was the up and becoming prospect, I guess you can call it.
Well, it was pretty funny because I had him in one of my pools. I ended up tying for first in one of the pools, so we got a little
You
money.
just split the money, yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad. I'm actually on a pretty nice roll right now, boys, with that fucking Jake Paul fight last night, which was the easiest money.
I didn't even watch it, man. Didn't even like. Okay, so if we're gonna talk about
You're
this
the
quickly-
reason that those idiots keep becoming bigger.
Yeah, that's just it. What?
Buddy,
Okay, just
all
my-
right, if I'm gonna make $200 every time this guy fucking fights, I'll take it.
Okay, so the one
Okay.
thing I gotta say about this guy, he fought like he's in a boxing fight. He fought an ex-basketball player, which was half the size of him and almost twice his age. He then fights a UFC mixed martial arts wrestler, not a striker, wrestler. And he at the weigh-in, he looked like he hadn't lifted weights or done anything in months. And now he's 36.
It's been
He's
4
30
years. It's been 4 years since he fought. His workouts were fucking awful.
That guy looked like he was fighting for a sandwich. Like that's what he looked like he was. Like in a way, I saw his weigh, and I'm like, that guy looks like he's fighting for a sandwich. He's not fighting for any money. That guy, man, the guy took a dive, probably walked off with millions of dollars, and doesn't give a shit. And now the Jake Paul hype continues. I want nothing more than to watch this man actually fight. I said this in our group chat this morning. I want nothing more than to see this guy fight an up-and-coming boxer who is the same age of him, and let's see if the guy actually has it. Because if he actually has it,
to fight Tyson Fury, who is a real boxer.
are you fucking
Probably
nuts?
knock him the fuck out.
Please,
That's what I
please fight
thought
Tyson
today,
Fury.
dude.
Please fight that man.
He will
No.
fucking murder him.
No, what I saw, it's Tyson Fury's like nephew or something like that. I didn't see
I saw
Tyson
Fury. I don't know anything about boxing. I saw
Tyson Fury is
they
not
need
a
to
man
fight
you want
Paul.
to fight. Like
Yeah,
he
Tyson-
beat Anthony
oh.
Johnson, and Anthony Johnson is a monster of a human
it would
being.
never. They're not even close. To the
They're not
same.
even close in weight, so it would never happen.
No, but his nephew is, and they've already been like talking back and forth. But there's a couple guys. There's like that Dylan
That's
Danis
what I
guy.
said. Dylan Danis, who used to be a UFC trainer, like
There's some
Just
guy.
Please, if you're
there's
going to do boxing, let him fight an actual boxer. None of this retired basketball player. Who's
yeah,
like
but you got to
5'5".
think about it. That Jake Paul is not an actual boxer either. So
Yes, but he's been training to do actually, but he's been training to be an actual boxer. He's come out and he said this. Okay, fine, whatever. How would you fight somebody relatively close to your age then?
yeah,
The guy you fought last night was
And
36.
size too. Yeah,
Credit where credit is due. He
No.
fucking smoked that
He
guy
did
last
crack
night.
him in
He
a good way,
rocked him.
Yeah.
I was like,
I-
he got him clean.
I don't know what Nick said. It looked like it could be like from different angles. It looked like a dive. I mean, fuck, who knows?
I don't know, man. This guy he got knocked out by Jorge Masvidal years back now. He was the one that I think Jorge Masvidal has the fastest knockout, and it was against Ben Askren.
Yeah.
But
Maybe you shouldn't be a fighter then.
But that's the thing, and that's what they say is once you've been knocked out once, it's very it just makes
You have
it
a glass
easier.
chin, dude.
Exactly.
Well, they say that about concussions, right? You get one concussion, you're so much more susceptible to
You're
get the second
screwed.
one and the third one and the
Tap
fourth.
on
I don't
the head
care.
and have a conky.
I don't care what anyone says. When Ben Askren got up, it could have been a fucking play on him. Like he could have, but when he did not take one solid step after getting back to his feet. If
You're
you
right.
watch,
I did see. I saw the steps
good
and they looked
solid
wobbled.
so
They definitely looked wobbled.
it was a big hit. Like I don't know, man. Like I can't stand the guy. Like Pete Davidson was the highlight of that whole fucking thing. He was fucking hilarious.
I think
But-
he's funny. He's got pretty good stand up. He's pretty funny.
But he's the performance. Like I get the.
I
rough-
heard Snoop Dogg was funny too.
Yeah, he was commentating. He was the.
He was fucking wasted. He was high as fucking drinking the whole time. All of them were.
When is he not high? Snoop Dogg is made of marijuana.
Yeah, he is.
His
Apparently-
blood is THC oil.
Who's the guy who plays Slater in Saved by the Bell? Mario Lopez.
Mario Lopez. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like fuck. He came late to the like announcers table. They're like, Mario, what are you doing? And he's like, fuck. He's like, I just got peer pressured for a blunt with fucking Snoopy. Maybe smoke the whole thing. It's like Slater's a fucking hero right now.
AC
And all
Slater.
Slater does now is like daytime fucking
Yeah.
entertainment talk, stupid.
Didn't he do like one of those like Miss America
like-
pageants a couple years
no,
ago? Like he was the
I think
host
he
of
does
that.
does like the Dancing with Celebrities or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
that's it. Yeah.
Like the cheesy, corny shows, but hey, those are the ones that make the most. So at least he's
But
smart.
it was hilarious. It was hilarious because Oscar De La Hoya was on there. He's 56 years old and he's just fucking annihilated.
Yeah, I heard he was wasted the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
time.
Oh yeah,
That's why, dude. It's not even about a boxing match at that point. Just like how many celebrities can we get to show up and like sing and dance and get fucked up and be
Yeah.
funny and like it's more of like a show than it
It
is actually a boxing match. You know.
it was a concert with boxing intermission.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. There was more fucking of a concert than anything.
But it was awesome. It was live music, man.
I
Like
heard the Biebs.
Beebs was fire. I fucking loved it.
We love the Biebs.
I am the believer. But no, it was I had fun, man. Like fuck. At this point, what the fuck else are you? I've spent $50 on much worse. So
Yeah, that's a
You
fact.
spent $50 on that thing.
oh yeah. $54 actually.
Oh Lord.
But I won 200, so I'm good.
So you're up $1.50.
There you go.
Not bad. Well, boys, enough boxing and golf. We gotta get into some football.
Hey.
So we had a situation. This is probably the newest news that we can talk about, which was the Aaron Donald situation outside the nightclub. A lot of people have seen the video, but you've definitely seen it in the news now that he was accused of assaulting some guy when he actually saved the guy from getting fucking murdered, probably.
Yeah, it looked like the
Um,
video was just a big like gang fight.
Yeah.
Not a gang fight, but
I think you
a bunch of
termed
guys
it
fighting.
properly when we were first talking about it. Is when you said he saved him from getting curb stomped, because that's exactly where that video was going.
Yeah. But no, like it's good to hear that the guy came out and apologized, and the lawyer like backed down right away as soon as he saw the footage. And you know, you stop any slander of Aaron Donald's name moving forward, and but it sucks to see a guy who's like, I don't know if I'd say like is Aaron Donald like a model citizen in the NFL? You know, like
I think
Yeah, I'd say
he
so.
is. Like I've seen like when that all happened, they're like coming out with like the 5 times that he's played in his whole career where he's got into it with a lineman and like ragdolled the guy because he's the biggest man in the league. Like,
Yeah.
but that's competitiveness. Like that's gonna happen. Like I still feel like he's a guy that you can build. Like kids can look up to him. You know what I mean?
mhm. especially being like the best, or one of the best at his position in the league, you know. But no, it's good to see it all getting cleared up. You know, he's not getting sued anymore. He's not getting investigated.
You just hate to you just hate to see it because
yeah, no,
it's automatic. It's automatically the guy who makes the most money who's getting accused first, right? And that can go across the entire league at this point, right? So
that can go for any sport or
yeah.
anybody, I guess.
Well,
you know?
that's it, right? It's is this turning into like a money grab situation, which it sucks, but that's reality nowadays, right? So
yeah. Well, I'm just glad it's over and he doesn't have to deal with that shit anymore. So
yeah. Well, I like if he didn't play this year, I would have been all right with it.
yeah, for your division, that's true. Break down the T-Law situation for the folks.
All right. Well, he came out and he had an article in Sports Illustrated, and basically somehow people conveyed that he's not dedicated and that I don't really get what the whole story came about, but basically people just attacked him on Twitter, just saying like, is this guy really going to be the guy who everyone thinks he's going to be? And he just came out and he said to everybody, listen, I love football more than anybody else. Just because I don't show it like some other people, I'm not very vocal about it. He's like, it's so close to my heart and this and that. And like, it just like what the media wants you, like that story was edited to make him look like he wasn't that dedicated to his craft, I guess. And he just basically had to come out on Twitter and be like, that's not the case at all. And it just like that's almost
the internet these days, and that's the unfortunate side of the situation.
It's very unfortunate, and it sucks because the kid's a good kid and he's probably going to be. They're saying he's the best QB prospect since like Peyton, pretty much. So
that's the unfortunate thing about when these articles and everything come out, though, because now from his point of view, he's like, well, I don't want to talk to the media anymore if this is how they're going to twist and convey my words. I don't want to talk to anybody or talk to reporters. And then if he doesn't talk to reporters, people say, oh, well, why is he not? He's supposed to talk to reporters. This is part of the game, blah, blah, blah. But then every time he talks to them, everything is taken out of, it's been taken out of context. But if he doesn't talk to them, he's a bad guy for, who does he think he is? He doesn't have to talk to reporters. It's the internet, man. You'll just never keep everybody happy.
These days, you can only lose.
Yeah. So what the exact quote was in the Sports Illustrated article was, I want people to know that I'm passionate about what I do. It's really important to me, but I don't have this huge chip on my shoulder that everyone's out to get me, and I'm trying to prove everybody wrong. I just don't have that. Can't manufacture it, and I don't want to. So
I don't see anything wrong with that.
And that's what I say. But like, I guess people like to hear like I play with a chip on my shoulder kind of thing. Like, I guess they like
the underdog story, right?
Yeah. But he's not an underdog though. He doesn't.
No. I agree with you. Like, but that's what people want. They want to hear that you've suffered and you need to fight and earn everything you got. But like, he's lived a pretty good life. He was successful. He's a good football player. Like why do you want him, like, what is it, a story?
What is his struggle? What you want him just to make up a struggle to fit your narrative that exactly. He has to play with a chip on his shoulder? The guy's had a good life. Probably comes from a pretty, like, obviously I don't know the guy personally. Seems like a good kid. Seems like he has a good family. Went to school. What was his struggle? You want him to start making up some struggle so you can call him out on bullshit that he's lying about a struggle or something? Come on, man. Just leave the kid alone. Let him go play football.
He's just basically saying that, like, I don't have to prove myself to anybody because I know I'm a fucking great fucking quarterback. He's like I said, he's one of the top prospects coming into the league in years. So he's from everyone that's played with him, anything like that, says he's a fucking leader and a half, and that's exactly what Jacksonville is going to need, because if they fucking passed on him, then get that fucin
Ubi Meyer,
who's the owner, fucking Singh or whatever the fuck his name.
Yeah, Khan or I don't know,
Khan or something.
Rashad Khan, yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, I think all around the board here we
got a sweet
mustache. On Trevor Lawrence's side. You know, like we don't think that he's got to prove anything to anybody. I mean, once he gets in the NFL, I think he's got to prove something. You know, you got to compete with the big dogs, and that's it. But I like how Declan said it, is that you don't have to play to some fucking underdog narrative these days. Like if you don't have like some shit story that you came from the slums and
Yeah, exactly.
bounce
That's it,
back,
yeah.
why would you lie? Because
Like,
they're gonna find out somebody knows you from your past that's gonna out you to the media. So
Yeah.
like I don't know, I don't know if this is gonna make me sound like an asshole or anything, but like I don't care about your backstory, man. I don't know you as a. I don't care, man. I watch sports for the entertainment. I don't need your sob story that goes along with what got you to the NFL or got you to professional sports, man. It goes, I'm watching sports for entertainment. Sports are becoming way too political when all I'm trying to do is watch a goddamn sports game, man.
I was
like,
watching.
I get that some of y'all have struggled and some of y'all have really come from really hard upbringings, and more power to you. There's not a lot of guys that get to the NFL or not a lot of guys that get out of these situations. But I don't know, man. It's not going to affect my day-to-day life. Like I watch sports for sports, not for the gossip and the backstory of your life for the most part.
That's what I found was pretty funny when we were watching March Madness, and they had one of like the little taglines that came under like a guy's stat line or something, like where it'd be like he had this many rebounds or anything like that. It came up like his name. It's like he was homeless because his mother was an alcoholic for 4 years or something.
Why does
like,
anybody need to
why
know
are you
that?
showing me that? Yeah, like if I'm that player, I'm like suing them. Like, first of all, who gave you that information, and second of all, why are you blasting it on national television?
Like
come
why
on.
why do I need to know like what is that going to do for me? Like nothing. I know it might sound selfish, but I watch sports for sports, not for the backstory. If I want to watch a drama about somebody's life, I'll go watch a documentary or I'll go watch a Netflix show.
Same reason WWE is one of the highest grossing sports in the fucking America.
True.
That's a company that can write a hell of a story from weekend to weekend. Holy.
Men want to watch a soap opera without watching a soap opera.
Yeah, go watch that. Yeah.
That's one of those like TikToks. Tell me you watch a soap opera. Or like, tell me you're watching a soap opera, and it's like cut to fucking WWE.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, boys. Moving along, we had news today that Derrick Henry, we've all seen his workouts on like Instagram or Twitter or on TV, but apparently he's coming out saying that he's heavily working on his pass catching. He's coming off a 2K rushing season, so he's good at running.
That is terrifying for everybody that's got to fade the lineup against them. Because not only that, imagine that guy out on the flats, and then the first guy up is a cornerback. Good luck.
Yeah.
Man.
Guess what happened to last year? Josh Norman from the Buffalo Bills got
that guy has been on a few posters
by Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Well, the guy's a fucking mutant. Like, in all reality, like at this point, if that is something that his game is going towards, he's easy RB1 this year.
Oh, but yeah, we catch maybe like 50 or 60 passes. Yeah. He'll catch a couple touchdowns here and there, but yeah, it's a scary thought, man.
I'll be looking at him at, like, I would absolutely look at him at fucking number 1 this year. And
who's your number 1 running back right now?
The fantasy special.
Oh, buddy, we got lots of time for that. Just right now, with the information that you have, who would you take number 1? With everybody coming back, everybody out there, like, we don't need to go into any more than that. But who would you take? Who would your number 1 be?
I'm Saquon. I'm still going Saquon. I think he's coming back with a vengeance this year.
Yeah, I can see it. Lovad, what about you?
I don't know. I'm stuck between Derrick Henry and CMC, but I'm also like biased for Derrick Henry because I had him last year on both.
And it kind of hurt you a couple times.
So he literally carried me to where I was. But I don't know. Like, I think especially if Derrick Henry can really work pass catching into his, like, that's even more points for him on top of what he's already getting because we're in a PPR heavy. That, like, I think CMC also is going to be coming back with a vengeance. But I mean, Saquon's a good one too, man. Like, you can't go wrong. I think he's like. That Giants team is going to be revitalized and ready to roll this year. So
I think if you're inside the top 5 picks, you're getting a great fucking player.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. I don't think you can really.
Who's yours, Dex? I know you want to weasel out of this, so we don't know anything.
Yeah, I know.
No, if you say like
Devontae Adams.
You know what? At this point, you could probably your argument right there is still for CMC. Comes in hopefully healthy after what happened last season, but I don't mind the Saquon one. The team's got better. he's going to want to come back and prove himself. So to me, it's between CMC and Saquon again this year.
And somehow Kamara still sleeps in behind the back.
Yeah, I know.
Is he really at 5? Like he could probably go 2 or 3.
No, I think that now with the way that offense is going to be, I think there's going to be chaos. The first year without Drew, I just think
that's
that
what I was gonna say.
team is
Without
going to be
deep diving into it, that's
very let's not dig too deep into it. But yeah, I just think that offense is just there's going to be a lot of moving parts, like new moving parts. Yeah. So, but moving forward with some more signings that we had over the past couple of weeks, the newest one, I guess the biggest one, we should say, Clowney to the Browns. They cut Sheldon Richardson, who was a big part of that offense last year, defensive lineman. And like I said, they just signed Clowney. What was that deal? That was a
1-year deal,
10 mil max, I think.
For 1 year.
I think it's 1 year 10.
That's 10, not all guaranteed. I saw the contract breakdown. There's a heavy incentive based, which I think definitely favors the Browns, because if he balls out, it's a win-win for both. Like, you don't mind fucking giving the guy his bonuses if he's gonna, put up his sacks and his tackles.
Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney are a pretty nasty 1-2 to have on that defense.
For me, it's if Clowney can stay healthy and actually help that team make another playoff run.
Yeah. Well, he was invisible in Tennessee, right? So, but there wasn't any really like standout
year, I think.
I think
even if he wasn't injured half the year, it was still like I felt like he was in.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
but the Titans are also one of those defenses that they don't have like a standout guy that was like, oh, that was the guy that fucking made their defense. Like, you know what I mean? So they didn't put up huge numbers on the defense across the board. So,
Dex, what do you think about that signing?
Well, like you covered it. It's not a big loss for them. It's not a big loss. It's not a big gamble for them. If it's a heavy incentive based contract, if he balls out and the team does well, then you have no problem paying that. If it doesn't work out, it's more of like what you saw in Tennessee. Then at least they're not tied into like a long term contract with a guy that's not going to play very well. Myles Garrett and him on the line, it's going to be a scary one to match up against. The division definitely got a little bit tougher, but it's hard to say what you're going to expect out of him because we played in Seattle. It was all right. Whatever. It was okay. Went to Tennessee, did next to nothing. So, what do you? It's hard to range what you can expect out of him.
He needs a big bounce back, I think.
He needs a bounce back. I think if he doesn't get a bounce back, he's done. Yeah. Like he might be out of the league, or maybe not out of the league, but
slowly pushed out.
Yeah. He's getting league minimum next year.
That's what he won't get a big money contract after this one if he doesn't have a good year.
Yeah, he'll be making like definitely lower millions for sure, because guys will be like, man, you're basically like a backup at this point. If you're not,
you're a very expensive backup.
Slot in at certain packages and shit like that. I mean, it's you can't afford to pay a guy fucking like 8, 9, 10 million if you're not producing. That's money that could go somewhere. I'd rather spend like 3.3 on 3 average guys as opposed to gambling 10 mil on one guy who's either having a great season or a horrible season.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope he plays well though. We'll see how he lines up. Like you guys said,
that division just keeps getting tougher and tougher.
Yeah, it's a tough division. Yeah, for sure.
Someone who used to be in that division, James Conner, was with Pittsburgh, signed with the Cardinals. So they lost Kenyon Drake. They gain James Conner. And there's another running back there.
Chase Edmonds.
Who's been there for a few years.
Yeah.
Kind of fucking I feel like that's kind of fucking him around. Like, I thought he was going to be your workhorse this year, but if you're bringing in Conner, he's not going to be. He's not a 3-down back at that point. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to bring in James Conner, sit on the bench for the most of the game.
No, exactly. I think it's going to be interesting with that offense. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to really slot in, but we'll see, right? Like I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of torn whether I think it's like a good move or like a why did you do that kind of move? Because like you said with Chase Edmonds, for sure, like why wouldn't you give a guy a shot who's been giving his all and you kept putting him on the back burner?
Yeah. Well, it was David Johnson, then it was Kenyon Drake, and it's just like you've never actually given the guy the shot, and when he has got in there when these guys are hurt, he's played
well.
really well. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it just doesn't make sense to me at this point.
I get what you're saying. You're looking at him like he's not really been given his opportunity. He played behind David Johnson, came in and played really well. Played behind Kenyon Drake, came in and played really well. To me, this just could be like a depth move because James Conner's never healthy.
That's true. Yeah.
You're not going to get 16 games out of James Conner. I mean, you'd hope you would, but for the last 2 years you haven't. You can't
17 now.
That's right. Sorry, 17. You can't solely rely on one running back in the NFL anymore unless you have a top end talent where you can feed them the ball like a Derrick Henry, Saquon, CMC, Ezekiel Elliott. You need another guy to run the ball there, and I just don't think they fully trust Chase Edmonds to be the guy running the offense. So I think he'll get a shot to be the starter, and James Conner will have to work his way into the rotation.
The thing is that the Cards
there to be the starter.
Thing is that the Cards also have Eno Benjamin that's sitting at RB3 right now, and he's very capable of taking. He could potentially make a run for that top spot. Like they got him in the 7th round last year. Like he's one of those guys, and I heard a lot of really strong things, but not a chance you were going to see him last year, right? So it's
don't forget, man. Like a lot of teams will sign guys to fit the huge roster bubble in training camp, and then when they have to make like the 52-man roster, then they go, okay, see you, buddy. We're going with this guy and that guy. You're not making it, So just because you sign a guy doesn't mean he's fucking playing at the start of the year. So like we're making early conclusions, but I like your guys' take, man. You could see, Chase Edmonds still be the 1-2, and then like Connor gets in at third down or whatever, being pass catcher, or maybe a run trying to throw the defense off. Who knows? Time will tell.
See, exactly. Time will tell. You'll see what happens there. It's a good move for him to get out of Pittsburgh. It's a fresh start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just shows that what's his face is going to be the number 1 guy in Pittsburgh this year too, right? So what the fuck was his name last year? Lova gave up the farm for him last year.
Snell.
Yeah.
Oh,
gave up the farm.
The rumors are heavily they're going to draft a running back this year.
Yeah, they're looking at Najee, I guess.
Yeah, they're looking at a few running backs. It's
Najee or Travis.
Etienne or whatever his name is.
Etienne.
But hey, man, I think that a young running back in Pittsburgh could revitalize a team like that, man. That like just looked so dominant the first half of the season, and then just absolutely looked like dog shit the second half of the season. Yeah. Like they need a change there, and bringing back Juju, and but then losing Bud Dupree, and I feel like they're like the same team but worse. I think they added a kickstart,
Added a new OC today or the other day too, though.
Yeah. So. Hey man, we had one of the small men retire, Jules.
Yeah. The only Pats guy that I will ever say that I had respect for.
Well, besides Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And Gronk. And the list just grew.
So the list goes on.
Literally 3 seconds.
Classic.
But honestly, Julian Edelman retiring, that's kind of bittersweet considering what kind of led up to his retirement, which again, I don't buy this whole it all just kind of happened, because the breakdown of it was that he failed a physical. They said that his ailing knee issue just wasn't any better, and then he retired. He had a fucking retirement video posted, amazing cinematic edited post of a 3-minute fucking video, instantly after he retired. You can't tell me that when that news broke, he's like, yo, someone make me a video right now.
Live, let's get the Foxborough.
No, it was definitely
This was 100%.
He was probably considering this last year at the tail end of last season. This wasn't just a snap decision.
Hot take, and I'm gonna throw it out there. Hot take. I think he might have had another one of those tests, and he tested positive, and he.
Oh yeah, I don't want to play anymore.
And yeah, it came. I think it was one of those. I'm gonna get ahead of this thing, and I'm gonna retire.
Yeah, it's not right. That way we don't have to break the news.
Failing a physical is that'll do it every time. It's performance enhancing drugs.
Well, no, but apparently the article the one that I read at least said that it was because he failed the physical because of his knee. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
Which who knows? It could be the team could be like, you know what, like
you don't want to tarnish anything, right?
Yeah, like so. I'm not saying you're wrong because I think you might be right, but I'm just saying like the official. Okay, so here's my question, boys. Does Julian Edelman deserve to be in Canton in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Dex,
I don't think
start it off then.
No. He's had 3 seasons of over 1,000 yards. He played for more. He played for, I believe it was 11 years. He has 1 Super Bowl MVP. He's never made the Pro Bowl. No, I don't believe based on that. He doesn't have the yardage numbers to put up there. He doesn't have the touchdown numbers to put up there, and he doesn't have the rings. I don't believe that he is a Hall of Famer. I think if you add him to the Hall of Fame, I think you're really bringing down what it is to get into the Hall of Fame in terms of wide receiver. I don't see Julian Edelman as a Hall of Famer in Canton, especially how difficult that Hall of Fame is to get into. I don't think he belongs there. Very good football player. Can't take that away from him. Had a very successful career, obviously. Won multiple Super Bowls. But no, I don't think based on his numbers alone, he goes to the Hall of Fame because I don't believe that he would have the type of career if he didn't play with Tom Brady for pretty much the entirety of his career. So no.
I think if you look at it, if you're going to put him in the Hall of Fame, and are you going to put Wes Welker in the Hall of Fame as well? Because their numbers are very similar when it comes down to it. So is Wes Welker a Hall of Famer? Absolutely not. So
well, when you say it like that, I'm saying fuck no.
Yeah. So I don't. That's why I say he's not. Love the guy. I think he was a great fucking thing for the league, but like the numbers weren't there enough to be a Hall of Famer. Like you can say he got into the Hall of Fame for rings and being a Super Bowl MVP and this and that, but like being a wide receiver and being a Super Bowl MVP is a great feat. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that's enough to get you into the Hall of Fame.
No, I definitely agree with you guys. Like you said, like for me, what really stands out about his career was the 3 Super Bowls and then the Super Bowl MVP. But like Declan stated strongly was that like you just don't have the supporting numbers. Like you only have the, what did you say? It was the 3 1,000 yard.
He's only had 3 1,000.
Yeah,
3
like
seasons over 1,000 yards receiving, and he played for 9 years, 9 or 11 years, something like that. So no, I don't think he would. Yeah. I don't think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, to be honest.
Just statistics wide, not including Super Bowls, you definitely look at that and you say, no, there's no way. Like, I think the only reason he would get in is maybe because of having 3 Super Bowls and the Super Bowl MVPs. But I personally wouldn't vote him in if I had the vote. But
if you had individual plays in
sports, boys.
If you saw like individual plays from players go into the Hall of Fame, then yeah, absolutely. His play in the Super Bowl that year would have been absolutely, that should be in the fucking Super Bowl, or that should be in the Hall of Fame. But
yeah, the one catch that was like an inch off.
Yeah, like that's absolutely, like that's a Hall of Fame catch, but it's not a Hall of Fame player. So
yeah,
no, I don't believe he's a Hall of. I strongly believe that he is not a Hall of Famer because I don't. It's a very tough Hall of Fame to get into. They're very selective in who they let in there.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of guys on the team.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys you could argue that should be in there that aren't in there. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I don't agree that just because he won 3 Super Bowls, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Ocho Cinco is one of those guys. He's one of those guys, those fringe guys on the. Is he going to go in the Hall of Fame? Numbers better than Edelman. Who are you going to lean to? I don't think either of them should get in.
No, I don't think either of them should get into the Hall of Fame either. And his numbers, I think, his numbers are very close to Jordy Nelson as well. I think Jordy Nelson has more yards and more receiving. I'm going to look that up quickly because Dave Glover is going to roast me if I got it wrong.
Hey, that's an argument between you and Dave Glover then. But another. Hey, speaking of Hall of Famers, we had a veteran guy go and play with Tom Brady in Tampa now, Giovanni Bernard. You said you like this move.
I like the move just because as a J Mix, fucking J Mix #1. And that it opens him up fully. It opens him up as he's the #1. So he's not gonna have Gio sniffing down his neck, which I didn't really last year, but it's I like that. And I just really like the fact of I think it was Declan that was more on the side of getting a pass catching guy. It was either James White or Gio Bernard for Brady, and I think Gio Bernard's the better choice.
Yeah, I'd say Jordan. Sorry, just to quickly check back to that one. Jordy Nelson is not in the Hall of Fame either. And he is.
No, I knew that.
I couldn't remember. I didn't think he was, but I just had to double check it before I went on record and said anything. He has 72 receiving touchdowns. Julian Edelman has 36. Jordy Nelson
literally
also,
double.
Jordy Nelson has a lot. Yeah, literally double. Jordy Nelson has a lot more in terms of receiving yards as well, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. So I really don't see how you could argue that Julian Edelman gets to go to the Hall of Fame. Now, granted, we live on the East Coast, so if you ask anybody in Boston or associated with the New England Patriots, they will tell you that you're an idiot and Julian Edelman deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. So, sorry, back to the other thing. It's a good the Giovanni Bernard. It's a good pickup for Tampa. They really needed a pass catching running back there. I mean, we watched all season. Was it Jones dropping multiple passes that hit him basically right in the hands. His hands are made of stone. Leonard Fournette not known for a pass catching running back, and then it was a Keyshawn Vaughn, who was the rookie that just never really got a shot. You look
Bruce Arians was never going to give him a shot.
No, because he hates rookies. He might, you know what? He should just skip the draft. He just hates all of his rookies.
No, but even if he wasn't a rookie, you got to look at like the running backs ahead of the guy. Like he was like, when you had Leonard Fournette, LaShawn McCoy, Ronald Jones.
Yeah,
you're probably not making that
LaShawn McCoy was just there for the ride.
I think
the free ring.
That's essentially what it was. He got two. So
I think Gio Bernard might be one of those guys, like we just talked about. Is after training camp, you might see him released.
I don't know, but I don't agree with that. I think Giovanni Bernard stays around. I think if anybody gets released, it wouldn't shock me if depends on what they're going to do with Leonard Fournette, but it wouldn't shock me if all of a sudden Ronald Jones got the cut because Giovanni Bernard doesn't matter. But it wasn't Bruce Arians' draft. Bruce Arians did not draft him.
But Bruce Arians had the choice to make him the starter last year, and he was for basically the entirety of the season. So
the way Leonard Fournette really came on at the back half of the season, it's going to be, I think.
That's just playoff Lenny, though. That's playoff Lenny.
Giovanni Bernard will add solid depth to the running back core. We watched him play on a really bad Bengals team for years and years and years, and he was a very good player whenever he came in. Whenever Jay Mixon got hurt, he came in there and he was very reliable. He was very good from a fantasy standpoint, but he was a very reliable, very steady Eddie type backup running back. And if you can have him on the books for next to nothing, why not have the guy hang around? He's proven that he can catch the ball. And for all you know, this is maybe what Tom Brady's been looking for. We saw how much Tom Brady utilized a guy named James White, and James White, bread and butter, was catching the ball. And Gio Bernard is a good pass catching running back. Is he going to be as good as James White? Who knows? Probably not. But if Tom Brady takes a shining to him, I don't see him being cut if he really works in and works well with Tom Brady. So
no doubt. This is kind of like older news now, but we're gonna break it down and give you guys our thoughts. We had Oves Niners trade up to the third overall pick in this draft. They switched around. There was a lot of movement on that day that went from like the Niners at 3 to the Dolphins to 6. And then I think it put the Eagles at like 10th or 11th or 12th, let's say. Which is a crazy day just seeing all that movement on the draft board. And we saw the Jets trade Darnell to the Panthers. Darnell. I don't know why I say
I
it
don't
weird
know,
like
man. I don't
that.
know how you say it.
But yeah, Sam Darnold to the Panthers for a 6th, 4th, and a 2nd to the Jets.
They gave up
Was
a
a huge
lot.
one for me.
Yeah, the second I don't think was necessary, to be honest. I think
Well,
they
like,
really kind of overspent there a
the
little bit.
fourth and second are next year's draft. So, but the sixth is for this year, so it's not a really big. It doesn't really impact this year's draft too much. I like it for the Jets because you know what all this means is that they're going to be all in on either Zach Wilson or Justin Fields at this point. So, um, you know the Jets are getting a new quarterback because they have a bit of a soft. It looks like a soft group of quarterbacks in next year's draft. So get your quarterback now and then kind of work with it after next year's draft. You can probably get someone good at that second round and the fourth round, right? Another piece to your defense or offense.
It's going to be interesting
Yes.
to see Sam Darnold escapes the Adam Gase curse. So
Yeah.
I mean,
So for
we've
me,
seen it numerous times.
I feel like Darnold has faced a lot of slack. He was on a team that was rebuilding and had Declan's favorite coach him for a number of years. But the issue for me was that there was never a team around him. The guy literally was stuck in a rebuild of a rebuild of a rebuild, and the team just never got there. The Jets have not progressed since he was drafted.
That's
and that
true.
it like is like a kick in the dick for a guy like Darnold, who is drafted, pretty high and, was supposed to do big things. I think that now being on a Panthers team that has CMC, Robbie Anderson, some other guys are slipping my mind, but I feel like that he's slotting into a team that's a little bit better and a little bit ahead of where the Jets were already. I think that if the Panthers get some help on defense and maybe, if we were talking about it, if they draft like Kyle Pitts or even maybe Jamar Chase, depending on who falls where in this draft, I think that the Panthers can make a big leap forward in their quick rebuild as well. So
the one thing that I I don't really understand this. I get it's competitiveness, so maybe that's what they're trying to give either Darnold a kick in the ass or they're giving Teddy a kick in the ass, or Teddy's not going to be there. One of the two. That's what I thought I saw enough out of Teddy to say, you know what? He didn't have his number one weapon all of last year and he still looked okay. Yes, you lost Curtis Samuel this year, which is going to be a huge hit to that offense, I think. If you bring in a guy like Kyle Pitts, that might save your season. But I think right now, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore as your 1-2, like that's okay. I can't even name their fucking tight end right now. But with CMC, most of your stuff's going to go through CMC anyways. I just don't get why they gave up on Teddy when they didn't have their number one target in the lineup all last year, pretty much. That just didn't make sense to me.
I think they're trying to be more of a traditional type football team, or traditional type, like have Darnold be a pocket passer instead of Teddy, the guy that will kind of scramble out, because you don't need a scrambling type quarterback if McCaffrey's going to be there.
Yeah, you have the franchise.
That's what you have him for. If you elect to keep the scramble type quarterback, that's going to eat into what CMC can do. You want a quarterback that can sit in the pocket and maybe a couple dump off passes here or there, CMC, or at least be accurate enough to throw the ball down the field and really throw the ball down the field. I think they're more looking for a traditional type situation here, and I think it's a good restart for Sam Darnold. He was plagued by injury last season. He got mono, like he almost died by the sounds of it. I mean, what you were hearing from him.
Yeah, how
like
horrific
he was
that
really,
is.
really sick for a really long time, and he never really got over it. And he played for I'm not going to go into this. He played for a really bad head coach. Like we've seen it throughout the years. The Adam Gase effect, how he just doesn't understand how to utilize his players properly. His players then move on, and they move on to really good, steady careers after that. Sam Darnold could very much be the same way. He just wasn't used properly in New York because of bad coaching and bad management. So let's see what he can do down there in Carolina, who are definitely in a, I wouldn't say they're in a rebuild. They're not going to be, they're going to be tough to compete in the division that they're in, especially with the Bucks and the Saints. And Atlanta, I would say, is a little bit of a better team than them. I mean, it's a 50-50 shot between the two of them. They're both
I don't know.
not,
I think I'd boost Panthers over Falcons.
but not by much, though. Man.
Yeah, no, I agree.
you're not
Definitely not
really-
by much.
you're not-
They'll
you can't
definitely
count them
be
that
fighting
much,
for
but-
last, but
That's it. They're going to be battling for they're going to be battling for the bottom of the division and draft picks going into the next season, which actually they just gave them away, so that doesn't really matter.
yeah. But the Panthers did get some help in their secondary. They got AJ Bouye, who I know Ove really likes. I think he had a bit of a slower year last year. We didn't hear a lot about him. So I think it's another, like, it's a good restart for a guy like that, who was pretty dominant at his position several years
Well,
back.
him and Ramsey playing in that, was it him and Ramsey playing there? They were just
Yeah.
1, 2, 4 shut down corners.
Yeah.
Again, another fresh start for a player, for a good player. See what happens.
Well, Denver, I think he kind of got a bad look last year because Denver's defense didn't know what the fuck was going on with no Von Miller there this year, right? So
It just, yeah, you're missing your literal anchor.
your core,
And that
your
happened
core to
literally
your
like a
defense.
week or two
Yeah.
before, like the season
Yeah.
was about to, like, it really kind of shell shocked the team, and it's very hard to adjust the entirety of your team's defense when you lose your star player.
Absolutely. And so I think he kind of got a bad look in Denver this year. I think him and Jeremy Shin are going to make a very nice secondary for the Panthers. And I fucking hate talking up the Panthers by all means. But
Yeah.
I think if they're smart and they make the moves to get Kyle Pitts on that offense, CMC stays healthy, Darnold, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback, Darnold or fucking Teddy. I think they have a real good shot to actually be competitive, especially with New Orleans not being great. Atlanta probably still not going to be that, like, doing that great in that division. I think they'll compete for a wild card at least.
I think that's a big jump. If they compete for a wild card, that's a massive jump forward from the season before. Granted, they didn't have CMC last year, so it's all really dependent on how good CMC is when he comes back. So
Yeah.
and how he's utilized in that offense. I'm sure it'll be more of the same how he was before. But guys coming off of a shitty ankle injury that always seem to nag and like don't go away right away. So I'm glad they didn't rush him back at the end of last season. They were playing meaningless football. They didn't need him to come back. Full healthy off season. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Panthers, but there's a lot of fantasy value in that team.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
There's a lot of news moving forward, boys. Next week is our super draft special,
Hey.
which we're all fired up about. You're gonna get our mock drafts, and you know what? A lot can happen between now and the draft, boys. You know,
Fucking
Oh
right.
yeah,
we're looking
that's
at
the beauty of the NFL, man.
This
yeah.
is the best time. Like in the next week or so, you start seeing the fucking pieces starting to move and whatnot, right? Like even the Niners, like I'm not going to get too much into it because I know I'm going to be fucking heavily into this next episode on what the fuck the Niners are going to do. But I think us going to Fields second pro day this week looked really fucking good, and the chemistry between him and Kyle Shanahan, already just the look in his eyes when he's looking at Kyle Shanahan, I loved it. So
I love you, man.
I love you, man.
yeah.
No, man, and you know what the best part is? There's still a lot of good guys out on the free agent market. People always forget that, you know, just because of after like the first or second week of free agency, there's still guys that wait until after the draft. There's a lot of guys that just enjoy family time and enjoy their off season, and then, you know, business starts like in May and June, man. So a lot of guys wait to see where, like, what positions teams drafted, so where they're going to see if they need guys to fix holes in offense or defense. So like draft time, even the week or two after the draft, a lot of free agents start signing because they know where they have to go. to get playing time,
Yeah,
or
exactly,
get the money, or to win a championship. So
Well, there's a lot of guys like AB. You got all like fucking both the linemen from fucking Casey
Yeah, they're both
Hayward,
still out there.
like, and like there's a lot there, right? So there's still a lot available. Like free agents, we could still be looking at some nice pickups here, boys.
Oh God, this is another person. I know we're just the Rotundo. Speaking of Rotundo, he asked me to explain this Super League thing again. This is like the 5th person I've explained this Super League thing to.
okay. This is you explain the long version. Give our listeners, any soccer fans out there or football fans out there, Dex, give them the super short.
All right, okay, I'll try. I'll
First
try.
off, there's nothing short about Declan's story.
No, there's not. They usually go
We
off the
learned
wall,
that
and then
last
they usually
episode.
run into another story, and that's another story, and then it somehow all ties back in together. But I'll give you the long and the short of it. Today announced today.
Hold up, let me just crack another beverage here.
All right, fair enough. So today, the day of the recording, there is a European Super League that the ultra rich teams in soccer are trying to form, which quite frankly is disgraceful. And it is, the whole thing is built on greed. It's a fucking shame is what it is. It's terrible. It's detrimental to the game. They're trying to form their own league, so it's only the super rich teams are allowed to play in this league, solely based off because they think they're better than everybody else and they don't want to share the money anymore. They want to create a midweek competition that only they are allowed to play in, and they will keep all the money, scrapping and being real detrimental to the Champions League, which is the current format right now. They don't want the smaller teams to get in. They want to keep all the money, but they also want to play in their domestic leagues and still be given their share of the money from playing in their domestic leagues. So they're basically turning and says, we're going to form this super rich league that nobody else is allowed to play in, but we still want to play in your league and take your money as well. That's what they're trying to do. And it will kill the game. It will be detrimental to the smaller clubs that really depend on the revenue streams that are split evenly amongst the teams in that league. And and FIFA and UEFA have come out today and said any team that breaks away and goes to this format, you will be banned from all domestic competitions, league and cup, and your players will be banned from representing their national teams at the major tournaments, which I think is a great move because all this is right now is the super rich teams attempting to get richer and richer and richer and not share the profit. Soccer is built on a game. It's for everybody. Anybody can play it, rich or poor, you can play. The game is built on exclusivity. Like everybody is allowed to play the game. And this, what they're trying to do is segregating the rich teams and the poor teams and basically say, we're just going to take all our money and we're going to go over here and we're going to forget the rest of you. It is pathetic. Any owner of part of these teams right now should be ashamed of themselves that they're attempting to do this. Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool are all owned by Americans. JP Morgan is going to be underwriting this competition. So all those four right there are going to stand to make billions of dollars. This is what happened when American owners got into this league and realized how much money there is to be made. They don't give a shit about the fans because it's really the fans that are going to suffer. You don't, there'll be no games to go to because the ticket prices will be too much because they will be charged way too high to fill the costs of running this. It's the fans that are really going to lose out and the smaller clubs. All the owners and the board members who agreed to the Super League should be fired and they should be fucking ashamed of themselves and they should have all their licenses and everything stripped from them and they shouldn't be allowed to be near football for the rest of their lives. It's fucking disgraceful.
I think like that's the worst part, and that's why I don't understand. Is like the best soccer story that I've heard of in recent years is when Leicester won the fucking championship. Like that's the best football story or soccer story in years, and that's the underdog who fucking. But that wouldn't be a thing anymore, right?
No, because they would try to getting into the Champions League. It's such a massive thing in European football. There's certain teams that get into it every year just because they're that good. UEFA is trying to make a rule change that the 4th place team in England doesn't get automatic qualification anymore. The team, I'm going to use Celtic, for example. Celtic wins the league. Unfortunately, not this year. Rangers won it. So what they're trying to say is the champions of, let's just say, Scotland, You don't get to automatically qualify, even though you are a champion of your country. You need to go through rounds of qualification. But the fourth place team in England, oh no, you automatically get qualification into the Champions League. Don't see how that makes any sense. You finish fourth and you get automatic qualification, but champions of their countries have to go through qualifying. That doesn't make any sense. It's literally called the Champions League, not the fourth place.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, like off air, was that like they're basically like they're ruining the integrity of the game of soccer.
Yeah.
Like it, and literally you're making it about money, which I feel like that's what North American sports is about. That's all anyone cares about in North American sports is the money. And like European, I felt like was just a different culture. And now that you're saying that, like a lot of these teams are owned by North American companies or North American billionaires, and it's just like ridiculous that now they're just changing the pace of a completely different continent because of greed.
They know nothing about. They know absolutely nothing about. They have no idea how richly ingrained the game of soccer is into these smaller communities that have team like the Austria. Imagine like the Austria Generals were a team that played in England. The whole town would depend, and their livelihood is dependent on this team and this team doing well. You start gutting the league of this. You start gutting small towns. People will lose their jobs and work at the stadiums. The people that fund the stadium, the people that bring the food to the stadiums, that you're gutting all of that out.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to
the best. Like and we talked about this off air. Germany has the best rule ever. It's called the 50+1 rule, where no team in Germany is allowed to be owned by more than 50% or 49% by one person. The fans own 51% of the team. One other guy can own 49% of the team, but the majority of the team is owned by the fans, and that's how it should be. That's how Germany keeps their stadiums selling out year after year after year. It's how they continually have great youth products. It's how they continually have great cultures within their stadiums, within their communities. It's just a much better atmosphere when you go to a German game and you watch a 45,000 stadium packed, or you go to an England game, Man City, who have something like a 60,000 seater plus stadium, but only 30,000 people show up. But they're one of the richest teams in the world. But nobody can afford to go to games. It's ridiculous.
Speaking of fans at stadiums, I think majority of the NFL teams said that as long as you're vaccinated, we are fucking ramming stadiums this year. Which means if Doug Ford doesn't figure this shit out quick, I'm just gonna fucking go down to the States, get my shot, and see at the Bills game.
Yeah.
Hey boys, Buffalo needs sprinkler fitters too, boys. So
yeah.
All right, I am officially from the 716. I'm a Buffalo resident.
Start the application now, Declan. You got
Buffalo.
Declan, you got way more to do than us.
Yeah, that's true. Probably, yeah. It'll be a long time. I don't think I'm gonna. I think I'll just stay up here. I think I'll just stay up here. It's too much hassle to go down there.
But no, man, guys, that is a wrap for episode 26. Like we said, next week, episode 27 is our Super Draft special. Hold
up
for that
hold
one.
up. Got something.
What are you holding up for?
Got something.
What do you got?
We have continued our small business fund. Now that everything's locked back down again, we've restarted because we had to withdraw the funds from the initial one. We have reopened the small business fund just with this new lockdown. Still, we haven't narrowed down. We got a few options for where the money's going to go. We are going to reopen it. We'll put all the information and whatnot. A lot of that information is going to come at our our draft special next week. So just keep listening and make sure you guys have some more information on that, because I think we're going to do our pick for who we're going to donate this money to next episode.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
There we go.
That's a good way to end the episode, boys. But yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking with us. And we're looking forward to having you back next episode.
Stay safe, everybody.
Love you guys.
See ya.
Fuck you, Doug.
Yeah.
That was good.